Good evening. We're going to call the meeting for Akron City Council to order at this time. Our clerk will read the roll.
Bolden.
Aye.
Boyce.
Aye.
Connor. Davis. DeShazier. Fusco.
Aye.
Garrett.
Present.
Hannah.
Aye.
Kamer. Lombardo.
Aye.
McKittrick.
Aye.
Amobian.
Aye.
Somerville.
Aye.
We have all members present except for Councilman DeShazier.
For those who voluntarily wish to do so, I'm going to ask that you please stand at this time. Instead of a traditional prayer, as we normally do, I'm going to ask that we just have a moment of silence. Councilman DeShazier lost his wife, and so we want to keep him and his 2 children in our thoughts and in our prayers. So at this time, just a moment of silence. Thank you. I'm going to ask if Councilwoman Davis will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The minutes from our previously held meeting have been provided. Are there any additions or corrections?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
The motion to approve the minutes passes 11-0.
We'll now move to our public comment period. I'm going to ask those who signed up to participate if you'll please stand at this time so that you may be sworn in by our clerk. You're the only one.
Could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth? If so, please say, I do. Thank you.
Thank you. And do you pronounce your first name? Is it Jarreau?
Jarreau, Jarreau.
Okay, Jarreau, thank you. So you may begin.
How's everybody doing today?
Good.
All right. Last time I was attempting to be one of you guys, guess what? I ran a nice, polite race. I don't have the luxury of doing that no more. I got a question, though. I want to ask Mr. Hannah. It's come to my attention that once again, another minority business has been targeted to shut down due to the outburst of crime in your ward. I'm talking about Exhale Hookah. What do you pose happens to businesses like these whose profits are based upon customer patronage but are not allowed to remain open while the city works out its own crime issues? Like, it's not the business's fault. So why would you penalize the business? That has been this city's go-to for forever with minority-owned businesses. Shut them down. Then another one has to reopen. Issues happen, shut them down. I mean, how many of you council persons out there own your own business? I know Mr. Garrett does. But how many of you other council people own your own businesses? Do you own businesses? Are you a business owner? Do you know what it takes? Do you know when the next time it could happen outside your business and you don't even have anything like that? A gas station or anything of that nature, but you still hold the business accountable when it seems to be minority businesses. But I want to let you know that places like Papados, the Platinum Horse, Italian Center, where's Lombardo? Yeah, you. No, don't give me no thumbs up. You. Even Speedway are places where people have lost lives, but yet they have been allowed to remain open at the same point in time. While no deaths at some of these minority businesses, but multiple shootings has them boarded up. The cross-contamination of what you deem to be equal treatment is far from equal. What we are doing is we're looking for folks out here in these communities to take your seats, especially you, because you, sir, you didn't even earn your seat. You ran unopposed. If that lady got her paperwork in, it'll be a whole nother face sitting right there. You aren't more powerful than the streets or its people. For too long, you've enjoyed comforts of the chair without the production of change. Look at these old faces. You don't know what's going on in 2025 in this city of Akron, but you remain and hold on to the seats for a paycheck, for some power or prestige. Let it go. We coming for these seats. You got 18 months, and I'm going to see y'all as much as I can. I love you, Miss Omobian. I love you, Mel. I love you. I love her. Miss Boyce, you've been doing some wonderful things out there in Kenmore. I love you too. But the rest of you old fogies, it's coming.
Thank you so much, Mr. McClendon. Thank you. That concludes our public comment period. Council, before you is the consent agenda.
Before you move into the consent agenda, I did want to make a note for the record that the first item on the consent agenda was pulled by Councilman Lombardo, so the consent agenda consists of items number 2 and 3. Thank
So
you.
at this time, we're going to be voting on items 2 and 3 only on the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
The consent agenda passes 12-0.
Okay. And then Councilman Lombardo, your wishes on item number 1?
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. As always, I, appreciate the improvements to the ward. Like I mentioned last week, I believe it was, love to have the improvements in the ward. I just didn't agree with the design of the plan for Home Avenue. So that's my reasoning for pulling it off the consent agenda and voting against. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. So this item is being pulled off the consent agenda, which means it will go back on our, Councilman Kamer?
Thank you, Madam President. I'll have to pull the committee for a favorable report, but before I do that, can I just have that read in for the record?
Yes.
Sure, this is a resolution declaring it necessary to improve Home Avenue from 100 feet north of Independence Avenue to 900 feet south of Talmadge Avenue by paving, grading, constructing, and reconstructing curbs, concrete sidewalks, and driveway approaches, and installing roof drain pipes, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Madam President. Yeah, I'd like to pull my committee for a favorable report with suspension of the rules. Kamer, aye. McKittrick? Aye. DeShazer's not here. Bolden?
Aye.
And Lombardo.
Nay.
The committee's report is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules.
Are there any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended. Any further comments?
I have no further comments.
Okay, thank you. The committee's report is favorable. The rules have been suspended. All in, Councilman Fusco?
Yes, thank you. I'm just curious what the issues are, what the concerns are that you're bringing forward.
Thank you. Yeah, sure. I'm just feeling that the way around town, especially in Ward 2, I feel like we're just being boxed in. Of course, we got Main Street construction going on right now. Next year, I believe, Cog Falls Avenue is going to be resurfaced and restriped to 1 lane. So that's the northern border, let's just call Main Street the west border of Ward 2. And then, of course, to the south, Evans or Faust or somebody like that some streets like that are 1 lane also. So just in light of the other construction going around as far as Route 8 Expressway Bridge, just to me, it's going to cause a lot of congestion and a lot of cutting through the different neighborhoods. So again, appreciate the love from the city to redesign or resurface Home Avenue, but I just want everything along with Main Street, like I said before, I just want it to keep 2 lanes in each direction. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. I understand your concerns as a ward council person. I just have a question for any one of these folks sitting back here. I mean, if we would not do this project, can an adjustment be made? I don't know who could answer that, if anyone. If city funds, income tax dollars that typically go to fund these projects, could they be readjusted?
Typically, no. I mean, they're designated for that project. They were awarded based on the merit of that project being submitted.
So it would be a carryover? Well, however, though, but in essence, what would happen, if I understand this correctly, they just wouldn't be spent. Is that right or wrong?
Can someone come to the mic? I'm sorry, just so
Yeah.
everyone can hear the responses.
Yeah, I'm just curious what kind of an impact this would have on the budget. I'm just curious.
So we would have to look at whether those dollars could be repurposed. My guess is the answer is no, they could not. You know, these are very specific applications for these projects when they're awarded. And typically, there's more than one grant funding source for that type of a project. So we would likely lose those grant dollars if we opted not to do this.
And what's the entire project cost in the breakdown? Do we happen to have that? Just curious what we're talking here in terms of.
$2.6 million project. A little less than about 8-9% is special assessment, this is the
Yes, that's-
resolution of necessity.
Yeah.
And then 1.7 million of that is from Ohio Public Works Commission, so state money.
Okay. Which then would be turned back over to the state?
It would likely be forfeited, and then the OPWC would reallocate that money to a different community.
Got you. Okay. Thank you very much. I just wanted to have this information before voting. I empathize with Mr. Lombardo here, and was considering voting with him. However, with all respect, Mr. Lombardo, the state monies, I didn't know how big this project is. It was going to be. So thanks for the information.
Thank you so much. Councilman Garrett?
Thank you, Madam President. As it relates to the funding, and you suggest perhaps another community, what does that mean? Does that mean another ward or? Now, thank you. Is there an opportunity for another ward to then go after that same pot of funds? How does that work? Please.
OPWC has an annual application round. There's a region that is allocated a certain amount of money. It's a little larger than Summit County, I believe. And so we're competing across that region for this pot of money. And then, we've been awarded that money as part of that competitive bidding process, part of which is based upon our ability to mobilize local match. And then we've been awarded those funds. If we let them go, they go back into the pot, and then, we have to, they can be reallocated through the competitive application process. Again, I will say that it does not look good for us to let money go. They don't want to award money and then have that money not spent. It's difficult at the state level if the funds don't get spent in that particular budget year.
Thank you. Councilwoman Amobian?
Part of the concern, I do respect my fellow councilman's concerns. But I want us to remember when we started this direct street design, how we all raised concerns when Copley Road was being redesigned with the bike lanes and being concerned about the buses, the school buses or metro buses holding up traffic and having that one lane in the middle that you could turn left or right. And many of us expressed concern that people were using that as a lane to overtake another car and then zip through the neighborhoods because we were concerned about all of that as well. And then when I don't have a ward, but I represent the whole city, but when I drive down Kenmore Boulevard, I look at the way that's designed as well, and I ask the question, why are we wasting so much space on the side because of that? But then I have to tell you that as I travel around this country, a lot of states are going to this direct design, and they all have bike lanes, and I don't see people riding the bike lanes, to be honest with you, but they are all kind of doing this to create to slow down traffic, to create the environment where you have more walking communities and all of that. And I know we raised all of these concerns, and I was just as concerned as everybody else, but we voted, folks, to go with this direct street design, and that's what we are kind of doing all over the city. And I realize the concerns are still there, because you are taking away that extra lane in some of these communities. Because if, I don't speak for Tina, but if you drive on Kimball Boulevard, you can have 2 lanes and, get where you need to go. But if you're stuck behind the bus, you're stuck behind the bus. And you have all this space with parking kind of like, it feels like it's in the middle of the road. But that is what we voted for, guys. And I am sorry to report that it's happening everywhere. So I respect your opinion, but that's what we voted for. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Councilman Bolden?
Just a quick question. When the city's going out for these type of projects, obviously they're planned far in advance. Is the councilperson notified that we're going to do this and it's going to be a bike lanes and things like this before you're applying for these funds? That may be a way that we can get our input on the front end, whether we even really want to go through with this. And talk to residents before I understand, we get the money, you turn it back. The next time we ask for money, it's going to yeah, well, you didn't spend it. So maybe if we could talk to the council representatives before it, when in the planning stages, it might be able to circumvent some of these tough decisions.
I can appreciate the need for that conversation and communication, and certainly welcome that. I have not been involved in the Home Avenue project, and so I'm not 100% sure about that outreach and how that went down. I think that I think the principles that went into the design of this are well established. This is, as Councilwoman Amobian pointed out, these are design principles and road safety principles that are being employed across the country, and to good effect in our own community. Safe roads are at times slow roads, and high-value roads, high-value streets are oftentimes slower roads. And so that doesn't mean that there is necessarily going to be a huge amount of congestion that follows out from this type of project. In fact, I'd argue that there's not going to be noticeable congestion from this type of project. But again, these are well-established engineering and planning principles that are being put into practice here, and we've seen that success again across the country and across our community.
Thank you so much, Mr. Julian. Are there any additional questions? Councilwoman Amobian?
Just one question. If we decide to not do this one, are we going to allow those streets that didn't want them in the first place to come back to us for a redesign? Because I could tell you that, I don't know if Madam President heard, but I heard a lot about Copley Road when it was redesigned. So I just want us to think seriously and clearly about what we are talking about here. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments at this time? If not, the committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Roll call.
Bolden?
Aye.
Boys? Connor? Davis? Fusco? Garrett?
Aye.
Hannah?
Aye.
Kamer? Lombardo?
Nay.
McKittrick?
Aye.
Amobian?
Aye.
Somerville.
Aye.
This resolution passes 11-1.
We'll now move to our old business, planning and economic development. Councilman Fusco.
Thank you. We had public hearings on the first 4 items. Time on 5 through and including 9. File 10, that was one of the public hearings we voted on. Time on 11. 12, file, voted on that one earlier today. 13, time, and then 14, file, and then time on the balance of the agenda.
Thank you. Councilman Kamer, public service. Thank you. Time will be granted.
Excuse me, before we move on, I do have a substitute offered as an amendment for item number 1 in public service. I would like to read that in. This is a substitute offered as an amendment offered by Kamer. Ordinance amending and/or supplementing Title V, Public Works, Chapter 50, Sewers, Article 2, Sewer Charges, Sections 50.20, Definitions, 50.21, Levy of Charges, 50.22, Sewer Service Charges, and 50.23, Charges outside the city of the codified ordinances of the City of Akron and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Kamer?
Committee's report is time.
Okay, thank you. Time will be granted. Public Safety, Councilman McKittrick.
Continued time, please.
Thank you. Time will be granted. That concludes our old business. We'll now move into new legislation, starting with Budget and Finance.
Item number 1, offered by Lombardo, ordinance authorizing the issuance and sale of bonds in the maximum principal amount of $21,500,000 for the purpose of paying a portion of the city's $65,512,425 various purpose general obligation bond anticipation note, Series 2024 at maturity, and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Lombardo?
Committee's report is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules.
Are there any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Nothing further.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
This ordinance passes 12-0. Item number 2, offered by Lombardo, ordinance authorizing the issuance and sale of bonds in the maximum principal amount of $5,200,000 for the purpose of paying all of the city's $5,163,705.56 taxable economic development revenue note, Series 2024, AES System Improvement Projects at maturity, and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Lombardo?
Committee's report is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules.
Are there any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Nothing further.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
This ordinance passes 12-0. Item number 3, offered by Lombardo, ordinance authorizing the issuance and sale of bonds in the maximum principal amount of $1,680,000 for the purpose of paying all of the city's $1,678,666.67 taxable general obligation property acquisition bond anticipation notes, Series 2024 at maturity, and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Lombardo?
Committee's report is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules.
Are there any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Nothing further.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended, and the committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
This ordinance passes 12-0. Item number 4, offered by Lombardo, ordinance authorizing the issuance and sale of bonds in the maximum principal amount of $5 million for the purpose of paying the city's $5 million general obligation courthouse improvement bond anticipation notes, Series 2024 at maturity, and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Lombardo?
Committee's report is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules.
Are there any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Nothing further.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
This ordinance passes 12-0. Item number 5, offered by Lombardo, ordinance authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a contract or contracts without the formality of publicly advertising for bids for the purchase of 6 vehicles for the Akron Municipal Court and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Lombardo?
Again, the committee's report is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules.
Are there any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Nothing further.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended, and the committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
This ordinance passes 12-0. Item number 6, offered by Fusco, ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a group home at 799 Stadelman Avenue and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco?
For an advertise for a public hearing on October 20.
This item will be referred.
Item number 7, offered by Fusco, ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a 3-unit apartment at 892 Delia Avenue and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco?
For an advertise for a public hearing on October 20.
This item will be referred.
Item number 8, offered by Fusco, ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a parking area consisting of crushed asphalt grindings at 1100 Triplet Boulevard and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco.
For an advertise for public hearing on October 20.
This item will be referred.
Item number 9, offered by Fusco, ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a beauty salon at 483 Howe Street and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco.
For an advertise for public hearing on October 20th.
This item will be referred.
Item number 10, offered by Fusco, ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept the Continuum of Care Planning Grant funds with assurances and certifications with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development and authorizing the authorized officials listed in ESNAPS to enter into all necessary contracts for the operation and term of the programs and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco.
Request the committees for suspension of the rules with a favorable report.
Are there any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Yes, thank you. As mentioned, this is a grant, kind of a pass-through type thing, whereas our partner cities, Akron, Barberton, and Summit County Continuum of Care, this helps with regards to planning as well as reporting. And I believe the sum is $407,955. And we request passage this evening as there is a possibility of a federal shutdown is looming. And so it's prudent for us to pass this evening.
Thank you. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
This ordinance passes 12-0. Item number 11, offered by Fusco, ordinance authorizing the Director of the Department of Planning and Urban Development to enter into a contract or contracts with nonprofit organizations for the provision of public services in order to carry out the intent and purpose of programs under the Consolidated Plan for the year 2025, authorizing payment therefore and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco.
Request of the committees for suspension of the rules with a favorable report.
Are there any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Yes, thank you. This is, again, a community services program. These funds are CDBG funds, and it's the focus areas is infant mortality, public safety, financial empowerment centers, and information and referral. And again, the same explanation in that there's a possible federal shutdown, so it's prudent for us to move forward. Thanks.
Thank you. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
This ordinance passes 12-0. Item number 12 was the substitute offered as an amendment read in during regular agenda. Item number 13, offered by Kamer, ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service or his designee to enter into a contract or contracts with A. Crano Excavating Incorporated without the formality of publicly advertising for bids to clean an existing storm sewer culvert under Merriman Road and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Kamer.
Consent agenda.
This item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 14, offered by Kamer, ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service or his designee to enter into a contract or contracts after publicly advertising for bids and/or requesting and receiving requests for proposals for professional engineering services for the advanced treatment facility and the water plant and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Kamer.
Consent agenda.
This item will also be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 15, offered by Kamer, resolution supporting the efforts of the city administration and its partners in developing data-driven climate solutions after completing the latest greenhouse gas inventory for the city of Akron in 2025, which establishes a carbon pollution baseline that will inform climate action initiatives and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Kamer.
Consent agenda.
This item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 16, offered by Councilwoman Amobian and Mayor Malik, resolution supporting the passage of the Megan's Way Out bill by the Ohio General Assembly, which would require drive-through lanes in new or renovated facilities to provide a bypass lane to allow vehicles to exit and for emergency responders to access the scene, and declaring an emergency.
Councilman McKittrick.
Consent agenda, please.
Thank you. This item will be placed on the consent agenda. That does conclude our new legislation for this evening. We'll now move into our committee assignments rules. Councilman McKittrick.
2 p.m.
Public Safety, Councilman McKittrick.
2:15.
Budget and Finance, Councilman Lombardo.
3 p.m.
Parks and Recreation, Councilwoman Connor. Planning and Economic Development, Councilman Fusco. Housing and Neighborhood Assistance, Councilman Fusco. Public Service, Councilman Kamer. Health and Social Services, Councilwoman Amobian.
2:30.
Is there anything else coming before council at this time? Councilwoman Amobian?
Thank you, Madam President. This afternoon, we had a wonderful presentation regarding the Adam Board levy that's coming up in November. We had Dr. Douglas Smith here to share with us about the levy. The levy is issue 1. It has been on the ballot many, many times, and it is generating currently $36 million. It is a renewal with a very small increase, and that will generate $46 million when passed, because I'm sure people want to pass this levy. It's just highlighting some of the things we talked about this afternoon. We probably have one of the most organized, collaborative, comprehensive mental health systems in the country, and I mean the whole country, because it's easy to locate services and it's easy to find what you want. And if you can think of it, we have it in Summit County. We've been very blessed and very rich. But these services do cost money, because there are a number of services that are provided in Summit County that are not covered by Medicaid dollars or insurance dollars. And this levy offers us the additional support to provide things like a step-down residential facility for individuals who are hospitalized to get further stabilization. It also provides the structure for a building when someone is in an emergency and they need to be assessed and maybe stay some additional days, and we call that the Crisis Stabilization Unit. It also gives us the ability to have a unit in the jail system for those individuals who are mentally ill, who can get the treatment they need, the medications in the jail system. So all the regular dollars don't necessarily cover all these things, but because of the way they've been able to utilize these dollars from the levy, we've been able to add additional services that are very helpful. Like most of the officers in Akron are trained through what we call crisis intervention treatment. It's called the CIT. I just found out today that we were the first large county to train officers, and every law enforcement system in Summit County has officers that are trained. In Akron, we probably have most of the officers in the system trained. If they're not trained, they will go through training. We also have mental health courts where we can use some diversionary programs. And all these things, again, are not covered by Medicaid dollars. You have workers that go and pick clients up while they're driving them to these appointments. Medicaid doesn't cover the time, the driving time, doesn't cover the mileage. So all of these things are really helpful for us to have the kind of comprehensive, collaborative system. Dr. Smith, who is comparable to a medical director, he told us his official title. It's like clinical director, but he's a medical doctor, he's a psychiatrist. And he has a meeting every month, and that's where everybody, all the agencies in town have a representative that comes to the meeting where they talk about what they're doing, how they can work more collaboratively. That's why our system has worked so well. And these funds are used to continue to strengthen our system of care. And again, it is a renewal with a very small increase, and it's issue 1 on the ballot. So please, please, please go out and support the levy. It keeps us strong, healthy, and I think Councilwoman Boyce indicated that her ward had the highest overdose rate that was cut in half in the last few years or so. So we are reducing the death rate and overdoses and all of that. So again, think about issue 1. Please go out and support it. Early voting starts October 7th, I think it is, and the issue is on November 4th ballot. So please, give it your support. And if you want to endorse it, they do have forms in which you can lend your name to support it. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman, for sharing. Anything else coming before council at this time? Councilman Fusco?
Just briefly, I don't know if everyone had an opportunity to read their public information daily report, but too often we do hear about shootings in our city, way too often. And yesterday, about 12:30 in the afternoon, a 10-year-old was shot. I understand from the report that he's okay, but he was in fact shot and walked himself to a nearby fire station. But a 10-year-old, and it just, it's so discouraging to continue to hear this time and time again, and it seems as though that, oftentimes it's younger folks, and it just, our hands are tied to a very large extent, but we got to keep on doing the things that we have been, supporting our police department, supporting exactly what Linda Mobian had just mentioned, the ADM board. And but it's just discouraging whenever you see this and hear about it. Our young people just continuously getting shot. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Anything else coming before this body at this time? We have a motion on the floor. If there are no objections, meeting adjourned.
This concludes the live broadcast of Akron City Council. Margot Somerville, President of Council, presiding.